I am Casey. This is Nick Hebert, and this is Damien St. Pierre. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day and a wonderful evening. We will be leading off today on the Group Chat podcast. We got our world famous Mott's Mailbag. We got some good questions.
Let's go.
I don't have the list. Well, yeah, I do have the list.
You just made
the list.
One of the questions that is going around every podcast syndicate, can 100 men beat one gorilla? So Devin just said, can a 100 cutoff residents versus
easily. 100 cutoff easily.
No. That's a good topic.
Are we just going through this, or are we going back to that gorilla one? Because
go ahead.
I got my opinions on that.
There's no rules here. You talk about.
We literally off the cuff.
Me and Siri had a little discussion today. I asked Siri, silverback gorilla has the strength of how many men? A silverback gorilla has a strength of 4 to 10 men.
100 would destroy.
We got 100 men.
Yeah.
You pick the right 100 men. This gorilla is down after about 50 of them at the most.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You got to sacrifice the first 10 of them. The next 10's got to come in and finish the job.
Let me set this up, right? And we could rephrase the answers to this question. You are at a boxing event at the Cutoff Youth Center.
Mm-hmm.
You have 4 hours to drink, to eat, and watch grown men beat each other up.
Yep.
When that event is over, there's a silverback gorilla waiting underneath the pavilion between the two goals at half court outside. Tell me what happens there.
I'm parking by the pool.
You running away?
If I've been drinking and eating,
you fought cowboys after drinking and eating for hours in Grand Isle. So the legend goes, at least.
Can Tyrese Halliburton's dad beat a silverback gorilla?
You get John Jones, Brock Lesnar, just go down the list of UFC studs, or what's that Eddie, whatever, that big goofy dude.
Van Halen?
No, he's probably not one you would want on your roster. If he's still alive, RIP. If you are dead, Eddie Van Halen, you were great. You get 100 fighters, strong, offensive line, NFL offensive linemen, Bob Sapp, like big dudes.
The gorilla's going to get killed.
It's only one gorilla with the strength of 4 to 10 average men. Brock Lesnar is probably 3 to 6 average men.
Yeah, I'm with you on this.
It's not going to go good for this gorilla.
And this question is why I'm glad Tommy's not here.
Hope you're doing well, Tommy. We're going to have you on real soon, I'm sure, at some point. A proud sponsor of what we're doing here.
He did have a question.
He had a question?
Yeah, he wondered if Nick was still buffering.
Bro,
we're good now?
I'm sitting down in the living room, but we're done with our activities that actually didn't get canceled. Trying to watch y'all live, and like every 5 seconds it would buffer. And I'm like, oh my God, my guys are out there buffering. They don't know it. And I'm like kind of freaking out for y'all. And Claire's sitting across the room watching the live. No issues. I'm like, okay, so it's me.
I have this problem every time I go live at a sporting event for Bayou Sports. I put it on the iPad, checking on my phone, buffer. Oh my God, the live is buffered. No, it's just my phone service that sucks. I have this anxiety and panic attack every single time I go live somewhere. Every time.
Nick, I got to give it to you. You are a true partner. I got to the point that Nick's wife, Claire, sent a chat in one of our lives and please don't go live tomorrow. Nick has to drive home and I'd like to live.
Well, I appreciate the support, brother.
We got a chat question. 100 Curtis Ogerons with PVC pipes versus gorillas.
The gorilla.
Versus the gorilla.
The gorilla easily.
With PVC pipes? Curtis is about 0 for 5 with weapons. So, yeah, I'm definitely going with the gorilla.
Yeah, the gorilla.
Well, Curtis with shoes or flip-flops?
No shoes.
I don't know. His kicks, that kick punch with the shoe, if he lands that, is deadly.
If he lands that. Listen to this. He's not landing that. He's not landing that on anything.
He's going to come kick our
butts. Oh, man. I posted, just had the thought in my head. Curtis, what you doing down our street? That old lady. I read it in that old lady voice and I was dying.
Curtis
Ogerol, what you doing down our street?
Look, our lives are going to start getting some traction. And these podcasts are going to be great.
I don't usually laugh this loud. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me.
Why are we not using our soundboard?
Cajun Roof and Curtis O'Drum. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, where's the soundboard? That's got to be clipped.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard for me to continue.
These questions is gonna be ridiculous.
But hey, look, man, one of the people that are showing us a little love, Tidelands. How was your first golfing experience, brother?
The experience was fantastic. So they have a tremendous staff. The folks over there that were finishing up their round were awesome. First time can be probably a little intimidating if you don't know what you're doing.
100%.
But it was pretty cool. As far as my performance, it was god awful. But I mean, we're gonna figure that out.
Yeah.
If you don't know me by now, I'm kind of a competitor. I like to win, so I'm gonna have some training coming up.
I was told once, if you play golf, play fast, drink, and have fun, and don't care where your ball goes.
That's the key. Because, dude, and it's hard because I'm like Damien. Like, I like to kind of win, but I'm so freaking terrible at it that, like, if I commit myself to it, and you got to kind of temper your expectations. Because if you're expecting to do some Rory McIlroy stuff.
Well, kind of sliced. My first drive on the second hole, and I couldn't find my ball, so I just found one that was already in the mud. I say, hey, that's mine.
Hell yeah, that's yours. And then just throw it on the fairway. That's good. Yeah, absolutely. One of the cool things that they do, and I would love to go live, and might be even, I think it's in the fall they do it, so we got plenty of time. The coolest thing in my estimation that they do out there at Thailand is when they do their night tournament where they put like the glow sticks out on the fairways and everybody's playing with the glow-in-the-dark balls. That's really cool. You're watching your shot like fly through the night sky. That's really, really cool. I'd love to actually maybe do a live show there for that. That'd be awesome.
Look, so Thailand's, if you're listening, we love you.
Yeah, we love you.
And hopefully we can make something happen because I think it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, Mr. Thailand's Josh Fullove had a hole-in-one the other day.
Yeah, shout out Josh Fullove.
His third career. That's Bryson DeChambeau said he's only made one in his career. So
he's better than Bryson DeChambeau.
He's better than Bryson DeChambeau.
I mean, in my book.
Let's get to our Mott's mailbag. We need to get a sponsor for this. I'm tired of saying Mott's name on these programs.
I feel like
Zataran's Jambalaya.
It's just an old habit that we're always going to have.
This first question comes from Tyrus, and I read it, and I was like, dude, this is a really good question. Since NBA games are the most accessible high-level basketball on TV, but the style of play doesn't translate one-to-one to youth basketball, what would you say would be the most important takeaways / skills to focus on that a young kid should get, rather, from watching the game to improve their skills? Or should they just watch for entertainment and increase their love for basketball?
The best advice I could give to a young person that's watching the NBA and taking some takeaways from that is the same thing I believe Kendrick Lamar says: turn the TV off. You don't want to watch it. There's nothing that comes good out of this game, the way it's played. The guy that's sitting on the TV right now, Steph Curry, as great as he's done in the NBA.
He's set the game back.
He's ruined the youth level because everybody wants to shoot threes. And as soon as you make one, you're chasing that high for the rest of your life, and you want to make some more. You sit by the concession stand and go to Meadow and try to jack threes up your whole middle school career.
As a kid basketball player, you should look at the NBA like a movie. You might do plays and stuff in your local school. This is a movie. You might not ever get to that level. This is something completely different than you're doing. Just watch it, and if you can enjoy it, go ahead and enjoy it. One thing I can say about the NBA and how to learn from it, like I have a 13-year-old kid who had no interest in basketball when he was probably about 5 or 6. He got NBA 2K. And the My Player thing, this is something I tell to all the kids I coach to. If you take your My Player and you put them at the position that you play, it helps your awareness and your offensive IQ, defensive IQ. Because if you're playing man-to-man on that game and you go away from your man, you lose points, and it teaches you to stay with your man. It teaches you how to guard your man. It teaches you on offense where you need to be. It teaches you on offense that if you just jacking up bad shots, you're going to have a bad teammate score or whatever. It teaches you that if you are out of position, you can have a bad teammate score. It teaches you where to be and how to do it without actually telling you how to do it, just seeing how your score goes up or down.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
My 13-year-old had no interest in basketball, started playing 2K, And now when I coach him on the floor, I feel like he is the smartest basketball player on the court because he grew up playing this game. And I don't give him that many compliments, but that's something that I always say, that his playing of 2K, which, usually you say, stop playing all those video games, boy, get outside and go shoot the ball.
Coach O said that.
But this is something I can credit to him for playing that game so much. He learned how to play in the positions that he's supposed to be playing in. Me and Jacob just coached an all-star team. We had a big kid who was one of Victor's friends, and his 2K guy is a shooting guard when he plays center. And I told him, if you get you a center who doesn't really shoot, isn't really fast, doesn't really dribble, and you learn how to play defense as a center and offense as a center and set screens and stuff, it will help you learn the game. Yeah. And I think a lot of kids these days struggle with offensive IQ and defensive IQ, and that game actually helps out a lot.
I agree with
Sorry
everything.
for the long-winded answer.
No. I think that's very profound. The one thing that I would say from my experience, and look, I grew up in the Jordan and Sean Kemp and Gary Payton era. Like, I couldn't do none of the stuff they were doing. The one thing that being a fan, and the reason why I would encourage kids to watch, but watch with a grain of salt and don't try to replicate what you're seeing. But the one thing that watching taught me, and I was a big Orlando Magic fan as a kid, it taught me that I love to win, and it taught me that I hate to lose. When you become a fan of something, it makes you more competitive. Because when Shaquille O'Neal and them made it to the finals and lost to the Rockets, I was freaking pissed. When we beat the Bulls in the round before, our second round, whatever, I was elated. So being a fan of something does, I think, teach you, hey, like, it's awesome to feel like you're a part of something. But with that having been said, if you're a fan of the Warriors right now, don't go and try to do what Steph Curry's doing, which is shooting threes fading away from half court, because your coach is going to bench you. You can't necessarily replicate that, because what you don't see is the 100,000 times that Curry practiced that to get the right to shoot that in a game. Does that make sense?
Right. He could be shooting unguarded 80%, 90%, guarded 40, 50%. If you're shooting 12%, 13%, probably not the shot selection you should be aiming for.
No doubt. Good question from Tires.
Look, go watch some high school basketball. Watch some mid-level college basketball if you'd like to learn the game. The high-level stuff is very similar to the NBA at this point. But watch some of those smaller schools with some experienced coaches if you want to really learn the game.
We got a question from Pierce from Golden Meadow. How you doing, buddy? Money's no option. What's your bucket list sports trip / vacation? Example, Tommy traveling to Manchester, England to watch Pep lose his final Manchester derby at Old Trafford. I know mine, but it's very specific. So, and it's probably not realistic anymore. It would be the final round at Augusta with Tiger Woods on the first page of the leaderboard. That would be it for me. Like, if I could have been there the last time that he won it, 5-6 years ago, that would have been like my sports heaven. He is my favorite athlete in any sport at any time. I like him more than I like James Harden. That's saying a lot. But I also realize that that's probably not possible anymore.
This is a going back in history type of thing?
I don't know. I mean, I guess we could interpret it however you want, but it says money's no option. What's your bucket list sports trip / vacation? I would like to, the Tiger thing aside, I would like to go to Omaha for the College World Series. There.
So I'm going to give a couple answers just because I can't really select one. So if we're going current day, like if next year we're planning this, and 16-year-old me would knock the out of 41-year-old me, I want to go to the Masters. I feel like that's the last true place on the earth. There's so many rules that disallow technology.
Can't bring your phone in.
I love it. It's the last true sporting event that you're not going to have people just playing on their phones the entire time. So you mentioned Omaha. I would love to be able to go back and be in the stadium for that Warren Morris home run when they beat Miami. And then bring me back to the Superdome. Jordan hits the game winner against Georgetown to put UNC as the national champion. You can line me up for all three of those events. I guess I got goosebumps.
So I was at Jellystone as a kid for the Warren Morris thing, and I remember there's like a long street where you make the turn, and there's like a long street, and it's just a row of nothing but campers. And this is before like Wi-Fi and everything, so most of the people really didn't have the game like on TV. We were just kind of listening on the radios. And I remember all the campsites had the game on radio loud. And I remember I'm riding my bike down the little strip, and I could hear everybody's radio because it's like I'm listening to the radio broadcast while riding my bike. And then I hear, oh, it's a fly ball. Oh, it's gone. And everybody just going crazy. You hear this loud roar. It's like the entire campground was in Omaha, stuff flying in the air. I will never forget that. A jubilation, a whole community of people. Nobody knew anybody else, but it didn't matter. We all were celebrating because LSU won the damn national championship. It's amazing.
I'll share my story on that. I don't remember the year or how old I was, but my grandfather opened up his bar. It's like private party. We probably had like 40 people there. And everybody was kind of doom and gloom. And when that happened, it was like, all right, the world's fine. We're good.
Absolutely.
My number one would be probably the World Cup. I'm a big soccer guy. I had big hopes for this upcoming World Cup, but we somehow stink when we were supposed to be good.
That's sucks.
But going to a World Cup and having your team maybe in the finals or in the knockout round or something, that's got to be amazing.
I agree.
If you're a big soccer country, or even like the United States would be a big soccer country if we'd make it far. I'm feeling like when we get a couple wins in group stage, there's a buzz. So if we make it deep into the knockout round, I'd imagine it would be a big deal. Going to a World Cup knockout championship or deep into the tournament, that would be probably my bucket list. That or LSU at Omaha.
Look, we got.
Even though I'm not that big of a college baseball guy.
Yeah, they just say Omaha's awesome. Yeah,
it's
like
a magical situation.
yeah, I'm with you, man. Let me ask you this. Between the three of us, roughly, we got, about 45, 50 years left. Are we going to win a World Cup in our lifetimes?
No. If we don't do it within the next 8 years, we're not doing it.
Damn, that's depressing.
We had so much hope with this group coming up. And every time I watch a friendly now, it's like, man, we are terrible.
Yeah, and that's depressing. Marcus from LCO wants to know. Is Marcus from LCO? With the decline in population in the 10th Ward in recent years, do you ever see a situation where LCO and Golden Meadow combine to make one middle school? Marcus, I don't know the answer, but my personal answer is, God, I hope not. Because, dude, I love the rivalry. And I get it. LCO has more population. Maybe it creates an advantage, whatever it may be. Golden Meadow's kind of the underdog. And you would know this better. You're a coach. I think you guys relish being that underdog. I hope it doesn't ever happen. Maybe it will. I don't know. But I would look forward to what you guys have to say about that.
I'm right there with you. That happened in Thibodeau, obviously. That's probably where the question stemmed from. But those schools were literally back-to-back.
Yeah.
It's – I don't see that happening. And I really hope it doesn't, because it makes almost and we're talking about sports. The competitiveness is interesting. It's different. And obviously you combine in 2 to 1, you're gonna get that. Next layer. Let's piss some people off from Thibodeau. Would an LCO Golden Meadow combined school win parish and everything? We would be definitely close. Right up. Yeah. We'd be right up there. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That's the other part of it. And we would run roughshod over a lot of people, but I like the rivalry. We got Badeaux in the house. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, just lovely. Just finished a 5 and 6 year old baseball game.
Awesome. Did you guys win?
We're all winners in my book. So
y'all play.
No, we don't keep score up here. It's for the kids. It was a gracious tie. One of the guys on my team hit a home run, so that was great.
What's your answer, Tommy? Golden Meadow LCO merger. Would you ever be in favor of that?
Absolutely not. I'm not going to say it's bad. The rivalry's kind of died down a little now that there's only one biddy program down there. I definitely think Golden Meadow LCO needs to withstand the test of time. I would not be in favor of a merger of one junior high school.
Yep, I'm with you there. Let's go to Jay from French Settlement, who wants to know, when you become a head coach, how do you go about picking your staff? What qualities do you look for? I can't answer this one because I've never been a head coach of anything of substance. So I will refer this to you guys. What are you guys looking for when you're looking for assistant coaches?
I just say, hey, you want to be an assistant coach?
That's how it works.
And
whenever you got me.
No. Yeah, they usually say no, but every once in a while somebody's going to say yes. And you say, basically, are you a dad of somebody on the team? No? Great. Okay. Because if you take a dad of somebody on the team, that kid's probably going to get pissed off at the dad all the time. And it never works out good.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm going to take the exact opposite approach of Nick's answer. I'm going to look for someone that knows the game, knows what they're doing, not shy away from folks that maybe have done it before and have been successful, right? You want to always have successful people on your bench, not somebody that's has very limited experience. And you want some good people. At the end of the day, when you are coaching specifically, let's just say at school, right? Or even in the summer, not necessarily Biddy Rec or All-Stars because it's a very short season, but you're with these folks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're with these folks sometimes just as much as you are with your family. So you want to make sure that they're on the same page. You could trust them, that they talking just as good about you to your face as they are behind your back, because you get into a lot of crazy situations where that allegiance gets tested at times with different parents and different situations, not necessarily parents, but just different opinions. And you got to make sure that you could trust those folks. And they got to be tough, right?
They got to be fun to hang out with.
They definitely do.
You guys asked me. I'm none of these things that y'all are. So y'all both have asked me. I'm none of these things. That
you're not fun to hang out with.
Good person, fun to hang out with. I don't go I don't go anywhere. I'm kidding, of course, but no, I'm flattered. Like I'm over here, like, hey, these guys.
We need somebody to go after the Thibodeau grandmas that are talking trash.
I could do that.
My last point on that is going to be, you got to have somebody with sharp. What do they call quarterbacks? You got to have when they
sharp memory.
Sharp memory.
Yeah.
So I took this. I thought I was a pretty decent assistant coach. I was a soundboard. I was able to be yelled at, and rightfully so at sometimes. Sometimes you got to take the head coach's frustration, and you can't take that personally. I think that's a huge, huge asset as an assistant coach.
And yeah, no, great answers. Badeaux, what do you think makes a good assistant coach, good sir?
I'm kind of in the middle on this. So at my juncture with 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, I'm just taking warm bodies at this point. Case in point, today, my 2 usual suspects were out of town. And so I actually had some of the moms helping me out. So that was very interesting, running around and trying to corral 5-year-olds with bats in the dugout. But I'd probably tend more to go to what Damien says, parent or not. If I'm going to be picking a staff or at least an assistant, I got to have somebody who is cool to hang out with. I don't care whose dad they are, as long as they understand the game. I just came from the unique point of my dad coached me most of my age growing up. I'm just used to kind of having that dynamic, and I'm also coaching my kids. So as long as the dad is not just there because of his kids on the team and he actually knows some ins and outs, and of course, where these guys are doing, if you're on the road and staying in hotels and partying in lobbies, yeah, I mean, you don't want to be stuck with sticks in the mud, no matter how good their X's and O's are. So, and I'll just go on the record saying, Casey, you might not be the greatest person, but in present company, you are probably the goodest dude at the table. So you got that going for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's very nice of you to say, Tommy.
Hey, good point, Tommy. Specifically in the travel ball scene, you got to have somebody that could be your road dog. So shout out all my assistants this year: Cody Sanamo, Brad Terrebonne, Tyler Smith. Am I missing anybody? I think that's about it. That's my road dog.
Sometimes it's good to have those number twos, guys who, and you'll find a lot of those guys. You find that it's the same thing like in the workforce. Some people don't want to be man. They just want to sit there behind the scenes, and it's good to every once in a while and I'm sure you guys experience this on a better level, but they see things that you don't. You're all heated, getting teed up, and they're like, hey, pass it to this dude. He's wide open, or run this play. I mean, that's kind of got to help too.
And look, as an assistant, to make a good staff, you got to be able to take those suggestions and not take those personal either. But I found out on Saturday that I selected the right staff, because you got to have that staff that's okay with drinking 3 margaritas at Superior Grill, and then maybe ended up at Gators, and then possibly having one of your parents dance with 80-year-old ladies at La Casa and Indian United Boogies. Who knows?
And maybe willing to fight a gorilla for you as well.
True story. We were all, myself and Nick, on a Damien staff one time, trying to get him to throw a game at Lockport, and he just didn't want.
I hate losing, but we did it.
Reluctantly, we did.
Very reluctantly.
I just had y'all sweating.
Like, put in the damn alternates, Damien. Stop pressing, Damien. What are we doing? Now, knowing how that biddy season went, they would have probably just arranged the bracket for us to have the easy matchup anyway. Mm-hmm. Oh, screw it. Y'all are third place. Here's the trophy. But yeah, like, why you didn't just listen to us, dude? Like, what was
I did. Yeah. I had an idea of what I was doing. Y'all, I think y'all pulled my leg hair out that game.
Who were we even playing that we were trying to tank?
Thibodeau.
I know we were.
One time we didn't want to beat Thibodeau.
Okay.
So just to preface the story, we didn't want to lose the game on purpose. But the way
we did.
The tournament was set up that if you finish good,
if you finish second, you basically have a paved road to the championship.
Yeah.
No, if you finished third, you had a paid road. If you finished second, you were going to run into the number one team in the semifinals.
TPR.
So if we would lose that game, we'd finish third. If we win the game, we finish second. If we win the game, we'd have to play.
There's
Terrebonne.
nobody else that we lost to that we would have came out third.
I think LaRose or Lockport.
We beat Terrebonne.
No, we didn't.
No, yeah, we didn't beat.
That wasn't the same.
We were blowing them out in halftime.
No. There was an opening round game on a Friday night that we beat Terrebonne.
Yeah, we played Terrebonne in the finals. Like Nick said, we were beating them like 20-3, and then they were like, "Hey, we're Terrebonne.
Yeah.
We're not going to lose."
That was awesome.
Yeah.
No matter we lost that game, that was still a really cool experience.
I have this next question from Murder, and I don't even know how to pronounce what this is. If the 4 major non-combat American sports leagues had to send 3 current active representatives to the what?
The Kumite.
Who are your picks? NFL, NHL, MLB, golf. Players do not have to be American, and there's not a chance that golf isn't the first one out, right? Bryson DeChambeau's pretty tough, maybe tougher than some baseball guys. First, I don't know 3 hockey guys, so I'm out there.
Oh, what's the brothers that are American?
The ones that fought the Canadians.
Oh,
after
yeah.
What's
You're right.
their names?
You're right.
The 90s.
Kachuk.
Yes.
The Kachucks.
Either Keith Kachuk or Matthew
Kachuk.
Matt's the son. I believe Keith's the dad.
Kachuk.
And there's another one. There's a brother too.
And like I'm gonna just say he's like Sidney Crosby because that's the only other hockey player I know.
NBA Steven Adams. I wouldn't mess with. There was a guy that played for the Heat that was an actual MMA fighter. James Johnson, maybe.
James Johnson, yeah.
That's the guy I wouldn't mess with.
Draymond's fake tough. I wouldn't put him on my list.
Steve Blake.
What?
Steve Blake's gonna throw some hands at the drop of a hat.
From Maryland?
Yeah.
Tommy, Steve Blake? He's like 6'1",
Did you not
140.
see the Steve Blake video from like maybe his rookie year?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure he might have beat somebody's ass one time, but I'm not putting him in the Kumite, whatever. Like,
Casey, you don't know what the Kumite is? Blood sport?
what is
Van Damme.
The Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. It's not.
I just told y'all I wasn't interesting. Y'all didn't believe me.
Tong Po would come out and
That's the kick. No, that's kickboxer.
yeah, that's what I'm here for.
Was it Bloodsport?
Bloodsport was Chun-Li.
Nick, come
Like,
on.
he's got a good jab. Oh, he took a lick.
Dude, this dude's not winning a fight
Blake's
against
off my team.
anybody. All this hype to
not how
show
I
me this
remember
video. The dude's a complete wuss.
That's not how I remember.
He's 6 foot, 160, and he's a complete wuss.
Nick must have lived in the clouds as a kid. Nothing he remembers.
No,
is accurate.
like Tommy, he just showed me the video. It's Steve Blake getting his ass kicked by somebody.
I was just as shocked as you. He's a little white point guard. I'm not sticking him in the Kumite.
I'm going 90s Shaq. I'm going 90s Rodman, and I'm going late 80s Lambeer to go in the Kumite.
Oakley, baby.
That Knicks team we talked about.
Yeah,
Just give me that mid-90s Knicks team with Oakley, Charles Smith, John Starks, and Harper.
Who beat up Jordan Poole?
Draymond. MLB, who we got? Like, Nolan Ryan almost killed that guy
so
one
I would
time.
definitely take
Pedro
Nolan
Martinez.
Otani. He's got to know karate.
Tommy says Otani got to know karate. That's a very interesting thing to say.
It's home. It's in his hometown.
Who's Albert Bell? You remember when Albert Bell got walked and they were like, go to first. He's like, nah, bro, I ain't going to first.
He ran that shortstop over.
We got any
Give me
Brazilians?
like John Kruk would have to be good.
You seen John Kruk when Randy Johnson threw that fastball over his head?
I want Randy Johnson. He could be a kickboxer. He's 6'10".
George Brett. I'm thinking George Brett could do some damage.
He wanted to fight that umpire one time.
Yeah, the pine targets.
What was that? Was he a shortstop or second baseman or a guy that was trying to steal? Odor?
Yeah.
Rudneg Odor.
Holdor.
Careful, Damien doesn't know the Game of Thrones reference.
Me neither. I got the reference.
So we got to do 3 golfers now. So I already said DeChambeau. Got to be John Daly, right?
Got to be.
I don't know any other greasy golfers.
Greg Norman?
Yeah.
Shark?
Daly's got to be on there. DeChambeau's big and strong. You know what? Tiger Woods is big and strong. I'll throw him in there.
I'm not putting Tiger Woods in the Kumite. Go watch that movie.
Yeah, but they got that one little dude that jumps around like a monkey. So you got to think we got to have some agility, some little spry guys. Maybe Rory McIlroy might surprise us. I don't know.
All right.
That's what Steve Blake would do.
I would love to see Rory McIlroy get his ass kicked. So, yeah, sure, let's throw him in there.
Got some Mo Vaughn love in the chat. Anthony Mason.
Anthony Mason ain't a bad choice.
Joe Pena.
That ain't a bad choice. Next question is going to be an easy one to answer.
Vijay Singh for the golf. I would, yeah. That's solid.
What Saturday morning radio station will you and Coach be on come football season? RIP 100.3. Ryan from Parts Unknown. Ryan, thanks for the question. We're not stopping, dude. We're still on every Saturday morning, but we are on 102.7 and 1600 AM. So 102.7 FM, 1600 AM. 100.3 is now wrap. We get that, but we are still on Coastal Broadcasting. If your signal doesn't catch 102.7 or 1600, go to kleb1600.com, hit listen live, and that's where we are every Saturday morning. That didn't stop in football.
Or you could download the TuneIn Radio app
100%
and listen to it there, which is what I do.
100%. John from Monroe's, we already answered this one. Well, I mean, are we really going to pick 100 people? It's 100 men versus a gorilla. Let's pick our 100-man squad. We're going to do like Jericho. Number 1, arm bar. Number 2,
he did have more moves than Malenko.
Yeah. Who are a few people that would be on our squad?
John Jones.
Bones Jones.
What's your boy Volkanov or whatever?
We're just picking like the baddest dudes around. Like
that's just basically UFC champions. Dustin Poirier, put one there.
Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis.
Yeah, I'm comfortable with all those. Ray Lewis, you know. Yeah,
you got to be tough or stupid.
Tank Abbott.
Tank Abbott.
Tank Abbott in his prime. Maybe just 2 Tank Abbotts and that gorilla's down.
Lesnar. We already talked about that.
Not a Tank Abbott, WCW Tank Abbott?
No.
Give me one of the Gracies, because if he hops on that monkey's back, we got a chance.
Like, how big is a gorilla's neck? Because if you got 3
Not
dudes,
as big as an anaconda's.
How big is a gorilla's neck is a question that I never thought would be posed at any point in my career.
3 big dudes in the front, the gorilla's busy with these 3 guys, and a little jiu-jitsu guy comes from behind and rear naked chokes.
He's done.
Yeah, he's done.
I mean, the gorilla's going to throw him off, but the next guy.
Can one of the Gracies choke out an anaconda?
An anaconda?
That was a previous question.
I want the whole Gracie family. If I get to pick 100, give me the whole Gracie family, because one of those dudes will finish the choke. And certainly,
rails.
You're going to pull guard on that gorilla. The gorilla's not going to know what the hell's going on.
Then they're going to use the gi. You remember he used to use his gi when they were still wearing those? That was over.
Snap an arm. That gorilla only has 1 arm left.
Give me the bloodline and the Gracies, and keep the chain.
The bloodline.
Hey,
Sikas.
Yeah.
The whole bloodline.
Tomatonga?
Yeah.
The whole bloodline.
Haku would be another guy on my team.
Why are they giving us 100 people?
That's what I'm saying. We don't need 100 people. We don't need 100 people.
Eddie Hall. Who said Eddie Hall?
Murdoch.
That's the guy. I couldn't think of his name.
So we're revisiting a question that we kind of half-ass answered the other day. Kyle from Golden Meadow wants to know who's on your Lafourche Parish Mount Rushmore. So, Tommy, go ahead and tell me.
Bobby Hebert, Coach O, Vin Bruce, Tab Brunet.
I'm going Coach O. I'm going Wendell.
Gotta have Wendell.
I'm going Bobby J. And, oh, man. I'm still stuck on the 4th one. Go ahead. Y'all give y'all.
I got Bebe. I got Bobby J, Wendell Curo, and who's the duck guy?
Tam Brunet. So I got my
solid.
3. I got my 3 solid. I think we agreed on these. Coach O, Bobby J. Duffy Bro is getting etched in that stone. And my 4th, I feel like my 4th's tough.
Brendan Mathern.
If he wouldn't have canceled Halloween, he was etching his place.
He would be up there if he wouldn't have canceled Halloween.
Gives us Halloween every year. We are lucky to have Halloween every year.
Did get dunked on for Mardi Gras. Somebody has footage of that, and hopefully it gets released.
Wait a minute. I didn't go to any parades this year. Somebody on y'all flow dunked on Brennan?
Pre-parade. Somebody in this chat or somebody on this video call had a goal and a ball, and we decided to go behind folks and just dunk on them.
Let me tell y'all a Halloween story about these SOBs here. I was at a parade once at this gentleman's former living space in Golden Meadow. They were riding in the parade. I was not.
Allegedly.
I was told, hey, just go watch the parade. Like, we're going to have people. It's going to be a great time. And yeah, it was a good time. Their float comes. I get told by, I think this guy, I don't even remember fully, hey, come sing. I go to the float and I get glitter poured on me. A tub of glitter poured on. Not just like a little bit of glitter, a tub of glitter poured on me. If you are looking close right now, I probably still have glitter in my beard, probably still have some like on my person right now because I got a tub of glitter poured on me. That was probably soaked in beer.
So the problem with that is the people that sold gallon Ziploc bags of glitter. And I mean, how do you not throw that?
The biggest problem is that if you were downwind from the guy that was throwing the glitter, which Damien's in the middle of the float, I'm on the end of the float, and every time he throws the glitter at somebody, I get a mouthful of glitter. I had glitter in this ear for probably about a month after that.
So this year I had the smoke cannons, and the wind was really bad on Mardi Gras Day, and Blake Badeaux was about 15 different colors. He was on the side of me. And Tommy as well. He caught like the third part of the raft.
And while all of that sucks, it could have been worse, Casey. You could have, and I can't confirm or deny this, but you could have caught a jar of crab boil to the face.
I could have been asked to eat a urinal cake too, which also happened at a Mardi Gras parade. You remember that? Hey, why don't you eat this pepperoni, which you handed to somebody, which was a urinal cake.
He ate it.
As Badeaux loses the headset and everything. Not going to say who we did that to, but yeah, I saw that firsthand.
I totally forgot about that.
Why don't you eat this pepperoni? Oh, okay. What the hell kind of pepperoni is this, bruh?
Probably the bestest breath I've ever smelled.
Yeah, so long story short, always have your guard up if you're enjoying Mardi Gras at the St. Pierre residence.
You give me a fourth Mount Rushmore? I didn't give it either.
Y'all have had 2 weeks for this question.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back. Everybody went with my Uncle Tan. I didn't realize he was that much of a G.
Yeah, I'll go that as well. I mean, dude's a freaking world champion.
Tan, that's my Aunt Jenny's husband.
Come on.
They're both passed away, but
come on. That's cool. Next question comes from Big Steve from Cutoff, who wants to know, the Falcons defensive coordinator was fined $100,000 for his prank calling Shadour Sanders. You guys are dads. I'm not. What would you do if your kid did something that cost you $100 large? What would the punishment be? You guys got to take this one. I'm not a dad. Y'all, all three are.
What's your salary? If you making $10 million, $100,000, that's you kind of like.
Okay,
that was good.
Let's fix the question. Your kid cost you $1,000.
Yeah, like for us. Yeah. Fair enough.
Kind of pissed.
Kind of pissed? Big ball of shirt guy over here.
Dude's making a killing on TikTok.
I did make 34 cents on a live.
So,
yesterday.
Just for context, your boy Ulbrich makes $1.6 million as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that's a problem.
I mean, I'm taking away everything. Now, I mean, they're still investigating. Supposedly, Tyler Warren got a mysterious phone call, and your boy Abdul Carter. So that's now 3 people who have allegedly gotten prank phone calls.
It wasn't even a good prank call either.
He pretended to be Mickey Loomis. That's a nightmare.
And he didn't talk like, hey, this is Mickey Loomis from the Saints. Like, I hate the way the dude talks.
I mean, it's got to be pretty good when you thought the Saints were going to pick you.
But, like, it was like the worst prank call ever. Like, yeah, we're going to take you.
And then he says,
you're going to have to wait longer.
Yeah, you have to wait longer. What?
Like, Shadour didn't even get it.
It would have been so much better if you'd have said, hey, here's this pepperoni, Shadour.
Look, I actually felt bad for the young man. He waited that long to get that phone call, and then to have that be a prank was kind of crappy.
But Shadour does not seem to be too bright.
But there's a reason why he slipped to the 5th round, brother.
And I wonder what his Wonderlic test was.
That's exactly what I was about to go with.
That might be.
Is that public knowledge?
I don't think they publicize those anymore.
After Vince Young?
Yeah.
He just sounds dumb and didn't get it that it was a prank call. Apparently, he's not a Saints fan. He doesn't know what Mickey Loomis sounds like.
Well, he probably thinks that drafting him would be a good pick, which he knows the Saints would be incapable of making a good pick, so he just knew it was fake.
But the thing about it is nobody had those numbers. Those are specifically given to those players, so I'm sure at that point that develops some type of trust that you're getting a legitimate
From what I understand, the players are given a phone, and then the numbers are just on a list that are sent to the GMs. So not too many people have that number. And if they do randomly select those numbers, they're not going to know that's Shadour Sanders.
You just made the list.
So to answer that question, this happens to me every weekend for travel sports.
Oh, you get pranked? Or you get cost money?
Yeah.
Losing deposits and stuff?
BTA.
Do you know, dude, travel sports? Now, look, our basketball organization is not crazy expensive. Like, you probably maxing out at about $400 or $500 a year.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm talking about other sports that my kid may participate in was $1,000 off the bat.
Come on.
And it's just constant. And I hate fundraising, so we just don't do it.
Yeah, fair enough. So very interesting. Yeah, I know that back in the day. What was y'all big go-to? Like, what was the thing that the parents would threaten to take away from y'all that would get y'all to start acting right? For me, when mom and dad said, hey, if you don't stop, no Super Nintendo, it was like, si, senor, I got you. What was that thing for y'all?
Probably Nintendo or Sega.
Maybe I've been someone in my family that punched a hole through a door, and after that, I was just like, all right, we good. I didn't really act up after that.
Yeah, fair enough. I understand that.
Set the tone.
Set the tone early.
I want to know Tommy's answers. I need to hear what Rory tried to take away from Tommy.
So my punishments were in order. It was a whipping, then it was the Sega or PlayStation, and younger days it was the hot box because we all had the boxes in our room to watch the pay-per-view, so I couldn't watch any movies. That got removed. And the final straw was I had to either go trolling with my parent or grandpa or go spend the whole summer plumbing with Rory. And if there's anything that made me want to go to school for the rest of my life, it was not to be Rory's helper.
I would pay to have that number one on your list happen again.
A whipping?
Have Rory whoop you. We're going to do that for content purposes.
Nah, he dropped me in the living room one day with an uppercut to the ribs, and after that, it was... Nope.
Yeah, all right.
Shout out Rory.
Yeah, shout out to Rory. LSU football fan question. I don't know the answer to this. Billy from Lafayette wants to know, would you rather beat Florida by 50 or Alabama by 1? I will say I would rather beat Alabama by 1 because I'm pretty confident that we could still beat Florida by 21. I ain't confident that we beat Alabama, period. So I'll take any win against Alabama. So I will say the win against Alabama.
So at this point in my life, I'd rather not get trolled and I'd rather be the troller than the trollee. So I'm going Florida by 50. So I would never have to hear Tommy argue anything ever again. So look, Alabama wins a few and far between. So losing to them is not that big of an issue anymore. But having the upper hand on someone that talks just as much trash as me, that's an A+.
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like Florida's typically a train wreck with their coaches and their shoe tosses. So I feel like
we beat them every year anyway.
We should be like, if we lose to Florida, I feel like that's terrible. If we lose to Alabama, dang, sucks. So if we beat Alabama by 1, that makes our season. If we beat Florida, it's just another win.
So speaking of Florida, you want to read who sent in that question?
Billy from Lafayette?
Yep. Sunday Billy.
Oh, okay. Now let's see.
Considering Alabama isn't as good as Florida anymore, I'm going to take Alabama. They're not the same.
They're not the same. They're still better than freaking Florida.
Right.
Not this year.
Oh, bro, DJ Lagway.
Yeah, let's see. We got any questions in the chat we got to get to? I know we said we'd get them all. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We were having a good time. We hope everybody is also having a good time.
What sport has the best Game 7 in sports?
Hockey by a mile.
Hockey.
Braden Wilson.
Hockey by a mile. And I don't like hockey, but like NHL games, like NBA Game 7s, a lot of times are 20-point games, 30-point games. NHL Game 7, it always comes down to the end. It's always in like sudden death overtime. It's always close. Hockey by a mile.
I'm not a baseball guy, but a baseball Game 7 is a magical experience just to watch it. Like every pitch matters, and just people sitting on the edge of their seat the whole entire time. It's not the boring 3 hours of a baseball game. I feel like every single play is very, very important.
I'm right with Nick on there, and I'm kind of laughing at myself that I'm even answering Major League Baseball. But I remember back in the day, I don't know if it was specifically a Game 7, but the Yankees were winning everything, and when the Diamondbacks had them.
That was Game 7.
With Matt Williams and Gonzalez.
Yep, Luis Gonzalez got the game winner.
That was awesome.
The Braves Twins.
Oh, screw Kirby Puckett.
Jack Morris. Get out of here with Jack Morris. You were 70 years old and you're still an ace.
Probably the best sporting event that I've watched in the last 5 years was LSU and Wake Forest, and that was like a Game 7. It was winner goes on, loser goes home. Tommy Tanks hits the home run in extra innings. LSU wins 2-0. So I could see the baseball side of that. That's a good answer. Badeaux?
I don't like baseball enough. I'm going to say just a Game 7. If NBA Finals ever goes to a Game 7, I think that's probably my favorite. Because it means it was a good series that you don't really get too much these days. So
let's see what we got else here in the chat.
Let's see. So Devin Staub says, who would have want to get their first and only NBA championship over the Bulls? Was it Barkley, Kemp, Peyton, Barkley, and John or Reggie? That's
Reggie Miller.
Reggie Miller. Who was John?
Stockton, maybe?
John Stockton. Yeah, Mailman and John. Yeah.
Okay. I see what you did there.
Definitely Reggie.
Reggie Miller. I was a big Indiana Pacer mark. I remember the Memorial Day game where he made that big three to beat the Bulls and send it to Game 7. He pushed the crap out of the defender and scored. Yeah, I was a Reggie Miller mark.
The Pacers versus the Knicks series back in the day, that was must-see TV. And Reggie Miller is one of my favorite players ever. So, yeah,
one of the
definitely
best
Reggie.
shooters in the history of the game. Did you see he was on some podcast with Steven Jackson,
yeah.
And like they just cried together. Steven Jackson apologized for ruining the twilights of his career and whatnot. And
Malice in the Palace year.
Yeah, Reggie came on and said, look, he said, I wasn't as good as I used to be back then. He said, you guys made it. I thought
that's really cool. That is really cool.
But to answer the question, I'm going Stockton and Malone. They were prime. They were good every single season. They had Jerry Sloan at that time was coaching them up, and Byron Russell was there. One of those two. You had Adam Keefe. You had who was the bigs on that?
Ulster Tag.
Some good teams, man.
Go ahead, Badeaux. You answer. I'm going to ask the second part to the question.
Out of the choices that were given, I wanted to see Barkley win one. I think he deserved one, and it would give him one more talking point for all these years on TV instead of him just getting crapped on every damn time.
I think Nick agrees with me here, but I'm curious as what Damien and Tommy think. The two Jordan retirement years, the Bulls roster was a little bit in flux. I think the Rockets would have still beat the Bulls anyway. What do y'all think?
I don't know about that.
They were good.
They were good, dude. Olajuwon was a freaking dog.
They were good and they were deep, but when it gets down to it, when has Jordan ever lost a finals?
That year that the Rockets won, they lost to Orlando. Yes, he was there.
Oh, that wasn't a finals. So they
lost in the second round to Orlando.
If he makes it to the finals, he's not losing. If they would have ran into the Rockets, he's not losing the finals.
Okay, he lost to the team that
he was sick.
The Rockets swept.
I don't know. Let me dig into my bag of Jordan excuses real quick.
Look in your little notebook, bro.
He had the measles.
The Bulls had 0 inside game. You trotted out Luka Longley, Bill Wennington,
Will Perdue,
all these cats, right?
No more Horace Grant. He was in Orlando at this point.
So they couldn't stop Shaq. They would not have stopped Olajuwon. So that was always their kryptonite, having a big. And when the bigs kind of took over, that's when that dynasty was coming.
Kukoc and Rodman were not yet there. I think the Rockets would have kicked their ass. I'm not lying. I really think the Rockets would have beat them.
That Magic Rockets series I loved it. Crushed me.
Because Nick Anderson missed 7 free throws in a row. And then, oh, God.
I love that Magic team.
Mario Elie, Matt Bullard, Ori, Olajuwon. Give me all of them.
Sam Cassell.
The Jet, brother. Smith. Yeah, the Jet.
NBA Showdown 94 maybe for Sega. That team was unstoppable. The Rockets.
Yeah, it would have been fun to see for sure. That's the one finals matchup that we didn't get a chance to see. Here we go, wrestling guys. Devin Steib wants to know who had a better gimmick, the Repo Man or Brutus, the bleeping barber beefcake. Screw Brutus beefcake, Repo Man all day, every day.
How is this a question?
Repo Man. What was over better? Definitely Brutus the beefcake, but personal favorite. Repo Man.
He was terrible.
He was, but I loved the gimmick. The dude was funny. He would steal stuff.
Brutus Beefcake cut people's hair.
Not funny.
With a garden shear?
Plenty of guys down here in cutoff, they cut hair.
There's plenty of guys here that steal stuff.
True.
I think per capita, more people steal down to buy males than cut hair.
True.
100%.
Point taken.
But they don't wear masks and like tippy-toe around.
I don't know. You told me to watch that Facebook for that hardware company.
Bruh, every day they're out.
I love that Facebook page.
Already got a message from him. Thanks for that, Nick. That's great.
Dude, what's crazy is like now, like they're on a crusade to stop all crime. They share every business's crime stuff now.
You have to have Herb Maggery on there.
Yeah. Oh no,
That's
we don't have to do that.
Good follow. If you don't know what we're talking about, go on Facebook and look up Sugarland Hardware and like it, follow it, whatever you got to do. They post pictures and video of people stealing from their store and other people's store that they share. Man, there's some idiots in this area.
We need some shirts that say Sugarland Sheriffs.
I tagged the law office of Tommy Badeaux in one of their posts, and they're like, "Can we sue or whatever for that?" And
Absolutely.
it's good stuff.
There's another good one. Jackson Dart's mom or Tyler Shough's mom?
Whoa. Shuck's
I've never seen Tyler Shough's
girlfriend.
Oh,
Shuck's 50, so
I'm sorry.
Dart's mom and Shuck's girlfriend are probably the same age.
Don't hate.
They're married.
I don't remember Jackson Dart's mom.
We literally looked her up and we gave the Instagram in our live.
That's my quarterback.
Oh yeah, Jackson Dart's mom. Oh yeah, I remember now. Yes, Jackson Dart's mom.
We can't have a side-by-side for the viewers so we can look at this?
No.
Okay. I thought we were up there.
You said community standards are trash.
They are. Facebook was warning me. I didn't even say anything.
So he's married to the old lady, Thomas Shuck?
I believe so, and they got that
my
dog.
man, Tyler Shuck's a macro.
Shucks? I don't know. Shucks old lady's pretty nice too, but yeah, it's close.
It's my quarterback.
You ain't going wrong with either one. I'll tell you that.
So we do have a late edition question.
Yeah, Mom.
Those are always scary.
No, it's not bad. From Jay Trahan from French Settlement. We got a lot of awesome viewers. I got to let you guys know. We got a lot of faithful followers.
Sure do.
Best layup line song. Why is it Jeezy? Put on. Thank you. I'll hang up and listen.
Well, if you play We Ready, you're losing.
Yep.
True.
Back in the day when I went to Golden Meadow Junior High, it was Tom Sawyer. I always was partial to that one. What say you, gentlemen?
I'll give you one from back in the day. It was Shaq's or Onyx Slam. That was a big deal. Now, as a coach, we kind of rattle off through three. One of them's going to be a little head scratcher. No. We go through Welcome to the Jungle with the entrance from The Lion King.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I've heard that before.
Ain't No Love in Oklahoma is a good one here. And my girls' team has fallen in love with Call Me Maybe. They get hyped on that.
Tommy.
So that's our
huge fan of that.
Man,
that's what's up.
Okay, I know we got it. Hater number 1 right here. Hater number 2 right here. And hater number 3 inside that laptop over there. But Rock You Like a Hurricane.
Whoa.
When you playing for the cutoff youth center and Rock You Like a Hurricane comes up, you will run through a wall. You will run through that green felt.
But y'all would always run into the losers bracket playing that song, though. So apparently it wasn't very effective.
Not in my day, boy.
I think the only acceptable answers for this question are 2 Unlimited, Get Ready for This, which is the opening song to Jock Jams, and it was everybody's warm-up song when we were young. And then ingrained in my memory from the magical 1998 state championship tour, Mythical, The Man Right Here.
Yeah, that's a good one
with
too.
With the smoke machine. Oh, and then opening Hell's Bells with John Rishu and the smoke and the fog coming out of the hallway, and then it turns into gangster rap. And was it nothing but white people in the tank going crazy.
This year for Lafourche, was it Brain Stew by Green Day? I really like that one.
Hey, shout out!
I remember. Yeah,
shout out back in the day, the people that actually played the music for us. Like you had to go through tapes and CDs to find these songs. So shout out you guys.
Yeah, there was no just like making a mix on your phone then. Yeah,
and I'm sure there was no Bluetooth to just put it from your phone.
That's a freaking production, man.
Yeah,
we used to have to bring Sony Walkmans and an aux cord when we were in high school and we played. We had to bring our own music.
DJs, bro.
And now you just hit play on Winamp.
Yeah. Yeah,
really kicks the llama's ass.
In the 70s, the dude has a big record player, and he's and then like Queen or Kiss comes on.
Back when my Pran Perry was covering all the sports in the area.
Back when he was a young buck.
It was a young buck. That's not part of my Pran, by the way. That's a vicious rumor that y'all started. Any other questions in the chat?
That's it.
Okay, cool.